Hello everybody, it's Michaela here, and you can call me Kay. This is Kayology, my channel, all about astrology, spirituality, and motivational videos. So today we are talking about the rest of Pisces rising as, I guess, an archetype all the way through the houses to the 12th house, okay? I'm not going to talk about every single house, but just the main houses to really expound upon Pisces rising specifically, okay? So if you are a Neptune rising, this is not for you per se, unless you have Gemini in the 4th, Cancer in the 5th, and Sagittarius midheaven and Aquarius in the 12th. If you don't, this might not necessarily resonate for you, but if you're watching for someone that you know is the Pisces rising or that has these placements, and Placidus Tropical Astrology, I am aware that some people are watching this for, maybe an Aquarius rising with a little bit of a Pisces in that house, and you have some of these placements. Go for it, watch the video, enjoy it. So here we go. For the Pisces rising or Aquarius rising, I don't think it would be an Aries rising, but maybe, okay? Let's get into the video. Gemini in the 4th house. Now, in my Placidus chart, I actually have Gemini in the 4th house, and since my mom is a Gemini rising, I guess it kind of goes, I will say I do see some of the Gemini 4th house things in my, inner world, in the way that my home life goes, as well as my relationship with my mother. So Gemini is the Mercury sign. It is the communication sign, also has a lot to do with maybe technology and connecting with your community as far as 3rd house type things, right? So normally Gemini or Mercury would love to be in the 3rd house, but in the 4th house, which is normally ruled by Cancer, it is a very uncomfortable placement. I will say that, this would also resonate for maybe a Gemini moon, right? So having that energy in your 4th house, it's like very unstable. And when we're talking about the moon, or even your relationship with the mother, you want everything to be super duper stable. But when it comes to Gemini moon people, 4th house Gemini people, your child life, as how you grew up and your relationship with your mother, wasn't always stable, right? There's so many ups and downs and changes and moving around and living in one house here and then moving to this place and going from one state and going to another state, or even just your mother's emotional state was kind of like a roller coaster, right? And one thing I will say that is really great about having a Gemini 4th house is that you become a master of communicating, in a sense that you have like a good bullshit detector. Like you're really good at detecting bullish. You're really good at understanding what people are saying and reading in between the lines. You become really good at body language, understanding it. You yourself could be really good at communicating your own emotions. Of course, on the low vibration, it would be not so good at communicating your emotions and definitely deflecting them and over analyzing them. Been there, done that, still do, okay? But I want to talk about where this energy could take you in a higher vibration way, okay? Where this could go for you, right? So Gemini moon people, your relationship with your mother, on the highest vibration, you could be like besties with your mom, okay? There's just so much communication when it comes to the mom, right? And of course, on the low vibration, it could be a mother that's manipulates, very critical. That could be possible too. I will say with my mom, she is definitely someone who is always growing, always changing. And I think one of the things I appreciate the most about our relationship is that I was able to communicate, right? It's not like a Saturn in the 4th where, there's a lot of restrictions in the household. I did feel like there was space to have conversations, to ask questions, to, question the parent a bit. Of course, with respect, okay? Because, you're not going to disrespect your black mama, right? But, you know, I always felt like I could come to my mother with concerns or issues or problems or advice, right? And another thing about a Gemini fourth house is that you could have a lot of gossip in the family constantly, like, you know, you heard about so and so, they're doing this now, they're marrying this person, they are running into troubles, just, you know, like always being in the know when it comes to whatever's going on in your family. Okay, there could be a lot of rumors, there could be a lot of gossip, there could be just a lot of keeping in the know of what's going on in your community, what's going on in your family, what's going on with the people around you. Okay, whether you want to know it or not, your mother could also be the one to give you that information. Like, oh, you remember this person that we met when we went out to eat that day? Oh, well, they're getting married, you know? Like, that's the type of mom that we're talking about when we talk about, you know, a Gemini in the fourth house, right? I can see this energy going to a lot of good places, and I can also see it going to maybe, you know, medium bad places. Okay, you might be someone who ends up becoming very close with their family because of all the communication, because of all of the openness, because of how free you can feel to communicate and have an opinion, right? It makes me think of Northwest. She's actually a Gemini. And you ever watch her or seen a clip of her online where she's just like ripping into Kim, okay? It's very extreme in a sense, but that's kind of the vibe that I get when I think of a Gemini fourth house. It's being able to speak to your parents, seeing each other as two people who have a mind, who have opinions, and who have thoughts that they want to share, right? That's kind of the energy I can see. I don't think that Northwest is either bad or good. I think she is very much like her father. She is who she is, okay? That's just kind of the vibe or this type of child that I can see. But when we're talking about the Pisces in the first and then this fourth house in Gemini, I could definitely see that Pisces would be listening a lot, constantly, kind of like a fly on the wall. Because another thing about Pisces energy is that oftentimes you might try to speak or share your opinions and people are like, no, right? But you oftentimes find yourself listening. You find yourself listening to your mother. You find yourself listening to other family members, just picking up on body language, picking up on the fact that, you know, these two cousins don't really like each other. You pick up on a lot of things when it comes to your community and your inner self, as well as the environment around you. I hope this is making sense. I could also see you having some closeness or just importance around siblings, because Geminis are, you know, Gemini is the sign of the twins. So I could definitely see relationship or importance around specific relationships with siblings. But I just feel like, you know, when it comes to friendship, it's so just deep. And I think one of the things I love so much about growing up with my sister is that at each point and each change, because we moved around a lot, we were constantly like moving until we finally set roots somewhere, right? I think at each point in our journey, I always felt like somehow me and my sister would always find a way to come back to each other as friends. I love that. I absolutely love that about our relationship. As you get older, I would say the Gemini moons, Gemini in the fourth, they can have like a hard time really settling themselves, right? With so much stimulation in your inner world, there could constantly be thoughts moving about how you feel, thoughts moving about certain conversations that you might have had with people. It's really interesting because I feel like Gemini moon can sometimes, especially during Mercury retrogrades, y'all, it can bring back experiences and you can constantly be thinking about your emotions. You get what I'm saying? You could constantly be thinking about how you're perceiving things and how you feel. You might be someone that has a hard time really sitting still, relaxing, you know, coming to a place of stillness. It took me a very long time to calm my brain and my emotions to actually meditate. Like, I tell people to meditate now, and I finally, not necessarily mastered it, but I finally learned how to do so. But it used to be really hard for me to quiet my brain. It would be like torturous to sit with my own thoughts, at least growing up. But as I got older, the perspective of my own brain was no longer scary, but it was kind of like my playground, especially having Cancer in the 5th. And I guess we'll go ahead and go into this Cancer in the 5th. Okay, so Cancer in the 5th, now we're bringing it right back to the 4th house. So it's like this integrating of this Cancer energy with the Gemini energy, right? You have a lot of fun at home. You have a lot of fun to yourself, being with yourself, playing with different ideas, which is very Piscean. Pisces is mutable, as well as Gemini in the 4th is mutable. So it's like that Cancer in the 5th, you have a lot of fun by yourself. You have a lot of fun at home and just being in your own energy. And I love being in my own energy. I can entertain myself for hours on end. Okay, I can really, start off researching something and then go and start doing some crafts and then go and start cooking dinner and then go and start washing my clothes or doing some online shopping, window shopping. I could just do 100 different things in my house, but completely happy and completely satisfied with life. Okay. Another thing about Cancer 5th house, it is your affairs. So your affairs, or people that you would be sexually attracted to, because affairs, they're short-winded romance. It doesn't have to be a relationship per se, but people that you would be sexually attracted to, have chemistry with, they're definitely the Cancers. It's really funny because when I first started looking into astrology, one of the things that I thought was interesting is that they were saying compatibility between Pisces and Cancer is not always the best. It was like a 60% chance. Those surface level sun sign compatibility things. But I actually kind of disagree. I think if Pisces has enough earth in their chart, that them and Cancer can be great. Because I think Cancers, they can be very naggy, right? And Cancers can be really naggy. So I think that Pisces, if they have enough earth in their chart, there can be longevity with a Cancer 5th house, chemistry. You can be attracted to someone who is very nurturing. This can be a guy or a gal. Yes, there are nurturing guys out there. I think mine is. Okay, so you like someone who is very sweet, nurturing, caring, and kind. Okay, you like someone who is going to kind of accept you for who you are, right? And I think that's something that Cancer is definitely able to do. As long as you're able to accept them, they can accept you. You can also have fun hanging out with Cancers. You have fun at staycations, right? Where you don't have to work for a certain amount of time. You just stay in your house and relax and, do your own little foot scrubs and facials and things like that. I could definitely see a Cancer 5th house doing that, as well as just doing Cancery things, crafting, DIYs, cooking. Cancers can even have fun cleaning sometimes. It depends. A Cancer mixed with a little bit of Virgo. I could see that. Okay. Reorganizing and even spending time with your children. I could definitely see that too if you have kids, right? Also, I find that Cancers do like doing kickboxing or, some type of fighting sport. It's weird. Or lifting weights. I could see that too. Cancers really like that. And I think no one talks about it. And if you're a Cancer 5th house, okay, or a Cancer sun, try it. Try it out. I found so much fun in kickboxing classes and lifting weights. It's like my new obsession. Cancer represents the crab, right? And they have that tough outer shell, but you're so soft on the inside. It's like oftentimes you would never think a Cancer enjoying weightlifting and fighting sports. Yeah, sparring. I could totally see it. And I think it's one of those like hidden gems about Cancers, that they actually really love doing like tough, rugged things because they know that they're so soft on the inside. So it's hilarious. It's really funny. Okay, so let's move into your 7th house. Okay, so your 7th house in Virgo. So this is the opposite of the Pisces first house. You would end up attracting someone who is opposite of you, unless I've noticed that if you have a placement in the 7th house, like you have like maybe a sun, Venus, something like that, right? If you have a placement here, you can still show some of those Piscean qualities, but it's kind of mixed in with the Virgo, which I think is not the easiest. Like, I know a Pisces in the 6th house. Ugh. Okay, 6th house, it represents Virgo, if you didn't know, right? So, Pisces and Virgo mixed together, it's like, whoo, okay. It's this constant fight between wanting to just be a free spirit and having to have structure and schedules and organization. So, despite what one might think, Pisces and Virgo, if they can, accept each other as they are, they can be such a good relationship. So in the best possible case scenario, I love to mix the 5th house with the 7th house. So a Cancer Virgo would be perfect for a Pisces rising, okay? Someone who can be both nurturing but also help Pisces to stay on the path, to get things done, to make a schedule, to make sure they're following their schedule, to make sure they're drinking their water, because Pisces can get stuck in their artisticness and all out flowing, having a good time, and not take care of themselves sometimes, okay? Guilty. As a Neptune in the 1st, I am guilty, okay? So I think what Virgo does for Pisces is really just kind of like helps them with all of the stuff that they have a problem really keeping up, okay? Virgo's gonna make sure that Pisces rising's bills have been paid, all right? They're gonna make sure that they take the money that they're making, that Pisces is making, Virgo is making, and make sure that all the bills are paid. Make sure that Pisces is healthy. Make sure that they are doing everything that is good for their health, because Virgo represents health and the workplace, right? You could also find really good partnerships, like even in business. Okay, so I'm going into just 7th house general things, right? But you can find really good business partnerships here. Be careful, Pisces rising, with being too trusting of people, because on the low vibration, you could easily be taken advantage of by the Virgo. Okay, Virgos are very smart. They can be very cunning. They're also ruled by Mercury too. So you have that Gemini in the 4th, so don't think that they can get over you too much. But, Virgos can be very cunning. Okay, they can be very manipulative in their own right, all right? So you could have really good business partnerships because the Virgo will see how you can maximize off of your gifts and your talents, and they can come up with a structured idea to help you, right? But I guess in friendships, because I touched on the romantic a little bit, okay, as well as business, because 7th house also rules over contracts, right? And I feel like the more that I'm learning about all of these placements and all the houses, I feel like my explanation for things are becoming a little bit more expounded upon, and I love that, like growth. Yeah, growth. But in your friendships, you can attract people opposite of you, opposite of your, creativity and freedom and just kind of being your own little hippie. You can attract people who are very, not like sticks in the mud, but structured, okay? We'll just say Virgo is structured, okay? It's really tough because I feel like Pisces is so free sometimes and so out there that having Virgo friends or counterparts, it's a lot of clashing. It's a lot of clashing. I feel like more than any other opposite pair, right? But if both can see the importance in each other, then it can totally work, and it could be great friendships and great partnerships as far as like love and business partnerships too. So I could definitely see that. I don't know if I really explained what those friendships would look like, but for example, Pisces will be in their own world, and Virgo will be like, hey, like, let's hang out today. And Pisces will just be like, yeah, like, let's meet at a coffee shop. Virgo's gonna be like, okay, cool, what time? And Pisces is gonna be like, you know, around like 1. And Virgo's gonna be like, so 1? 1 o'clock? And they're gonna be like, yeah, like around 1 or 2. And then Virgo's gonna be like, no, like, what time? Right? So it's like Virgo needing to have a plan and needing to have structure, and Pisces not. It's kind of like, if Pisces can let Virgo lead them, and you know, Pisces isn't too like out there and not wanting to be led, it can work. It can totally work. But once again, you just have to accept those people as they are, and if they also respect you as your artistic, free-flowing self, then it can be a great relationship. But I think it can go to bad places when Virgo doesn't see the importance of Pisces and doesn't value them in all that they are, right? That's where things can kind of go downhill, because Virgo might be like, hey, like, you're not practical, you never have a plan, you always just seem to go with the flow, like, what are you doing with your life, right? But Pisces, like, that's who they are, right? They're meant to do that in a certain way. You wouldn't have the rising sign, you wouldn't embody the energy if you weren't meant to be that way, in a sense. But, you know, Pisces might be like, you give me anxiety. Like, you just always have issues. You're always overanalyzing things. Everything's always a problem, you know? And once again, if you can just appreciate each other, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So 10th house in Sagittarius, this could be your midheaven. Sometimes the midheaven is like the 11th house ruler, so it depends. But it's usually Sagittarius. Sagittarius 10th house. This is your career. This is your public reputation. This is the highest point of your chart, and you taking the journey throughout your chart to the best version of yourself, in a sense, where you reach your career. Before you get to the 10th house, we always say, go through the 9th house in Scorpio, of transformation, of evolving. I always say, like, Sagittarius is spiritual evolving, right? But they can't do that without Scorpio. Scorpio is the process of transformation. So when you have Scorpio in the 9th house, we can look over to your Libra 8th house, and through your experiences with people and relationships, right? You hit this Scorpio 9th house, and there has to be a culmination of self and properly seeing yourself and properly seeing your journey so that you can evolve into this Sagittarius 10th house. For Pisces rising, you can do whatever you want as a career. You can literally do whatever you want. Whatever you dream is what you can do. You, once again, have to practicalize it. Virgo 7th house, okay? You have to practicalize it. And through all of the things that you've been through your relationships, through, you know, because I think, sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get this out. Pisces life is a lesson within itself. You are constantly learning, Pisces, all right? I'm bringing this all together. You're constantly learning from your Gemini 4th house, all of the people that you encounter growing up, the unstable atmosphere that you grow and change in. Then moving even into your energy of your 7th house, where you'll have to deal with certain criticisms and people questioning you, because when you attract Virgo energy as a Pisces, people are going to poke holes in your dreams, right? And then if you take that and transform through it and take the criticisms for what they are, okay? Don't be too sensitive, but take the criticisms for what they are. Choose to grow. Choose to change the things that need to be changed. Choose to ground certain things and make things more practical for actual day-to-day success. when you hit that Scorpio 9th house, that's where all of those things start to come together. And it's like this journey, right? I like to call it the fool's journey, because oftentimes people see Pisces rising as their own little fool, right? Their own little innocent, naive fool, right? But if you are able to let life teach you, let life criticize you, let life give you different ways to become better, when you hit that Sagittarius 10th house through the Scorpio 9th house, you can take all of the lessons that you've learned and you can become the motivational speaker. You can become the mentor, the life coach, the astrologer, the spiritualist. You can become the teacher. You can become whatever you want. And even Sagittarius can definitely be like dancers, filmmakers. It can be a lot of different things. When we talk about Sag, it's about the journey. It's about you. It's about what you have to give. It's about what you've mastered, right? So you take whatever you've mastered, whatever you've been dreaming with your Pisces first house, whatever you've been dreaming, working on, taking the criticisms, taking the opinions, taking the, ups and downs, whatever you've been working on, when you get to that Sagittarius 10th house, that's where you get to shine. You get to expand the dream and make it reality, right? So Sag can be anything from a traveling vlogger on YouTube to a professor of astrology or philosophy. You can be whatever you want. And that's why I tell Pisces rising, Neptune in the first house, that they can definitely do whatever they want. It's just about bringing it into the physical world through whatever way that you do that, right? Now, looking to see where your Jupiter placement is also pretty important, because this is how that expansion is going to happen. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So look to see where your Jupiter placement is. But I really hope that what I said made sense, because it literally all came together in this very moment. So I was like, whoa, it's insane. Like, these downloads have been insane, y'all. Like, I've been getting crazy downloads since the previous full moon, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. But I think I'm just going to leave that there. Your reputation, right? People see you as someone who is holding something of value. They can see you in a general sense, even on like line, because the midheaven can definitely be online, right? So people can see you as someone who holds great gifts. They can see you as someone who is abundant. You can look rich even if you don't have anything. Like, even if you're wearing Dollar Tree clothes, right? I don't even think Dollar Tree has clothes. Even if you're wearing like Walmart clothes, there is a certain luxury energy that you can carry in a public sense. You just look like you can definitely have a lot to give to people, to the point where people will expect it. People will expect great things from you. As well as on the lowest vibration, you could look kind of cocky, too boastful, someone who doesn't take things too serious. And in the workplace, you could definitely, on the low vibration, be someone who is a little too raw, too real. Once again, doesn't take things too serious, which isn't always the best in some work fields. But overall, Sagittarius in the 10th house is just such a great placement to have. It's like similar to having a Jupiter in the 10th house, which is a great, great, great placement. Whatever you want to do, it is all possible when you have Sag in the 10th. Just make sure that you, once again, on the downside, you're not hopping from thing to thing. I think that's one thing that Sag in the 10th or Sag midheaven really struggles with, because I have Sag midheaven. I'm talking about myself, right? I really struggle with keeping with one thing and just going with that one thing and seeing where it takes me. Sometimes Sag as the great journey taker, right? The one who's on that great journey to grow and evolve. You can have a hard time really choosing one career. So you might have multiple different careers that you just kind of evolve out of, which is absolutely fine. But just make sure that you are at least carrying something out to a finishing point and then moving on, right? Because because that can just look like you're being a opportunist in a sense, that you don't really have any loyalty, and in the business world that isn't always the best. So yeah, last thing, we are going to end off on this Aquarius 12th house. Okay, one of the things that can really stop or stunt Pisces rising, because the 12th house is your house, okay, this is the Pisces house, your own authenticity can kind of scare you a bit. You can have a lot of early childhood memories of being outcasted, and Aquarius is groups of people, past just like community. It's kind of like your school group, your church group, your non-for-profits, your clubs, right? That type of thing, as well as networks. So, or networking, right? It's just groups of people. You could have had early childhood memories of being outcasted. I sigh because, you know, it brings it all back for me. I've definitely had those experiences of just being odd or being weird, being strange, to the point where Pisces just channels all of their authenticity into some type of talent, some type of craft, some type of, you know, artistic gift, whether it's playing an instrument. For me, it was acting. Because when you're acting, you don't have to explain all of your characteristics. It's just the character. I'm just playing the character, and my character is weird, or my character is too sexual, or my character is too blunt, or my character is too angry, right? So I don't have to own the energy, right? So when it comes to healing this deep wound of being odd or being too authentic, or just feeling like your authenticity is not accepted, you kind of have to leave your past in the past. Because if your authenticity wasn't accepted, then the art that you would make wouldn't be accepted. And if the art you make isn't accepted, then any situation that you've had where you performed or you've shown your art and people loved it, then now you're discounting that whole experience and you're not able to actually take it all in. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. It's like you can get stuck there mentally, that there isn't any acceptance for you, that you are an island and you have to protect yourself, right? And that can stop you from getting opportunities because you're not showing up in your energy. You're trying to defend yourself, right? So you're fragmenting your personality to hide the parts that you feel like are too much, but you aren't too much, Pisces. Like, people need to see you as you are, and the people who get you, and the people who don't just don't have the capacity to understand it. But it's not because there's something wrong with you. Whew, I'm not gonna cry, y'all. Okay, like I literally Neptune in Aquarius. Okay, I have some Aquarius in the 12th house in my Placidus chart, right? It's just understanding that you are who you are, and you can't, at a certain point, there's nothing to hide. Like, you can't hide it anymore, right? And whether this is a sexuality, whether it is a perspective, a belief, whatever it is, whatever makes you authentic to you, specifically that you hide from others, right? The only way to fix it is to slowly but surely start showing yourself, right? And finding the people who resonate with what you are. So if it's something about your sexuality, connect with people who, you know, are open to those things. If it's something about your art or you're too artistic, find the other struggling artists, you know, like find your people because they're there. this placement can go to some weird places because you still have Sagittarius 10th house, right? So I could definitely see this type of placement turning into someone who has like a cult or something. So be careful, be careful. Make sure you're healing and connecting with others, because you can find people who are similar to you and y'all all just go and be weird in your own little place, and people will really follow you. They'll just follow you into all of your beliefs and honestly into your pain. So make sure that you're healing this area, because you're influential. You have the ability to influence people on a wide scale. So you have a responsibility to heal this, as well as connect with others and accept the parts of you that are weird, that are odd, that are strange. Okay? And nothing is really odd or strange. It's just, once again, the capacity. Some people just don't have the capacity to understand things because they judge themselves, which in case you end up getting projected onto, because those people can't acknowledge the fact that they are judging themselves. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope that it resonated. I really kind of bared my soul to you guys, but it's worth it. It's worth it if people resonate with it and it's helpful, right? So thank you so much for watching, and definitely talk to me in the comment section. What resonated? What didn't? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? And just tell me your stories. What's going on with you? Okay? So yeah, bye y'all.